Hey guys, long time no see. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Veronica. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys don't know, I am pregnant with twins, and so there's one crib in the background and another crib's gonna be set up shortly. So until I find a more plausible space to film in, which will probably be my living area or my bedroom again, this is what is going to be happening. But until then, we're going to be in here. Okay, so I wanted to keep this video short. For today's Military Monday, I wanted to talk to you guys about something. It has been so crazy with everything going on, and I kind of wanted to talk about today's political climate and being a military member. So I know I got this question kind of a lot, kind of with everything going on. How do you guys react, or what can you do, Veronica? Are you frustrated? How are you feeling? And sorry, I'm using my big camera, so I have my screen over here. So I need to focus on the camera. And a lot of you guys are like, oh, can you even say anything? And yada yada yada. So I will go ahead and leave the UCMJ, which is our guidance over what the reference number for social media and political things that go on. But basically we have a very limited scope. So whenever there's an election or candidacy, doesn't have to be presidential. Well, it's usually presidential because that's usually, you know, that's like our biggest boss. But whenever there's like elections or something going on, the ultimate golden rule that this is Veronica's opinion, not the Department of Defense, is just be respectful on each side. No matter who you're voting for, no matter who you serve under, just be respectful. I like to give the analogy of I'm working at Sephora, and Sephora and Ulta are battling against each other for the top beauty not brand, but beauty company of 2021. And so they're campaigning, blah, blah, blah. I'm working for Sephora. Doesn't mean I go and trash Ulta and talk bad about them on my social media. I still have to be respectful even if I disagree with how the things that they have, and vice versa. So when it came to the two political candidates, I'm not going to name names because it's obvious. It was a lot of turmoil, I will say, for a lot of us Department of Defense folk, because it's not, you have to remember, it's not just military people, it's also civilians who also serve in the DoD. I think it was a lot of turmoil because of the media, the things that were being said, and it was really hard, right? And so even though there's things on both sides that I do not agree with, I still have to be respectful. I still cast my vote for whoever I potentially want to vote for, and that's that. Now, the display of drama and everything that happened was just absolutely ridiculous. The Capitol riot that is not, no matter what side you're on, we don't act like that. And that's why the joint staff actually released out a memo, which means all of the services, so Navy, Army, Marine, Coast Guard, Air Force, you name it, the signature block was on it. They condemned what happened at the Capitol. And what I know, there was some Air Force members, some Army members. Was there a Marine? There might have been some Marines who were threaded out. And also I live in the DC area. We had the DC National Guard here, and the FBI had to investigate because there were some also extremists who were could have started something else after that, and they were removed. So all of it is condemned. I do not support that. The Department of Defense doesn't support that. What happened was a complete embarrassment and people taking things to the extreme. And honestly, I think some of those people are mentally unwell because you just don't act like that. And unfortunately, it cost people their lives. And more unfortunately, innocent officers who had nothing to do with it and who were just trying to do their best also lost their lives. So that is super, super unfortunate. It was just shocking. And you know, everyone's posting on Facebook saying all their political stuff and posting things about both candidates, and I'm like, shut up. That's what I wanted to say, was just like, shut up. But obviously I couldn't, you know, I have to respect people's freedom of speech. The biggest thing that I also want to articulate is in the military, because that's what I'm used to, every 2 years I get a new commander. Sometimes every year I get a new group commander, and every 2 years I may get a new squadron commander. And we're not campaigning, we're not wearing t-shirts, we're not acting crazy. We just go on with our lives. Even when, and trust me, I have served under commanders I did not care for, and I showed them the utmost respect. I did my job, and I wished them well. And that's the same thing that I think a lot of people need to realize is every 4 years it could change. And if they get it reelected, okay, you have another 4 years, so 8 years. But ultimately, you should not start acting out of your character over political parties. Some people take it to the very extreme, but one could argue what happened wasn't patriotism. What happened wasn't honoring your country. People literally went and stormed one of the most sacred democratic processes that our country was founded on, and did some awful things, putting stuff on, like, their human feces on the wall, trying to climb the wall. One guy fell. I mean, it was just absolutely crazy and nutso. And so whenever elections and things are going on, we're allowed to support candidates. We're allowed to wear, if you go for Democrats or Republicans, you're allowed to wear a t-shirt. But what you're not allowed to do is break federal laws, post things bashing other candidates on social media. That can get you in a lot of trouble. So the best thing to do is just agree to disagree and just move on. No one is going to cost me my life here over a political candidate who, you know, at the end of the day, is going to change no matter what. As much as you agree or disagree, I know it's hard, I know it sucks, but just continuing to perpetuate lies is just not the answer. And so if you are a military member, I know a lot of times we feel like, oh, we can't say anything, or we can't do this, can't do that. You actually can. You just have to do it in good taste, and don't wear your uniform showing up to a rally. I saw that and I was like, we're not allowed to do that. So please don't do that. Any type of protest, rally, anything, you don't show up in your uniform. Like, that's a no-no. Now that that's over, I just feel like hopefully we can move forward. But I mean, there's still a lot of tension and turmoil. But ultimately, I just kind of like, for me, and this is my opinion, again, it's not worth it. So I just kind of, whenever every 4 years comes up or there starts to be tension, even the Black Lives Matter, I post what I want to post as long as it's respectful, and I don't bash other people. I don't like tweets or like posts or repost things bashing other people. I try to read the whole thing, because sometimes it starts out good and then people slide that line in there and you're like, oh crap, let me undo that. So, you know, but just be careful, just be conscious, read the UCMJ's guidance on social media and posting and all that stuff. But generally, you're pretty free to do what you want as long as it's not craziness or talking bad about someone or your boss. Because ultimately, it's our boss and we can't really say much. I can have my personal opinion that I keep to myself, but I'm not going to put it out there and be like, oh, I don't like President Pickle because he's too sour. So, also what I wanted to mention real quick as I wrap up this video is just remember that this can be applied to not just at the highest level, but your lowest level. When you don't like a supervisor or someone else, or because you're gonna be under someone you don't like or get along with perfectly, just try to give them the utmost respect. And if you need to vent to someone, vent to a friend who's probably doesn't work with you, like your family, or things like that to kind of keep you sane. I know I used my dad a lot when I was trying to figure out what is going on here. And it just really helped me because he also gave me other perspectives too. And so it just really helps to have that one person. But you should never just, I wouldn't do it in the workplace with people you don't trust, especially because that could easily start drama. And, you know, even me as a leader, I know I wasn't always liked. I know there was times where people were like, oh my gosh, this girl, I can't stand her. And you know what? I just like keep living my life, because in 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years, I'm rotating. So more than likely, change is constant and inevitable, and it will not last forever. But if you make a temporary decision off of emotions, you can make a decision that will last forever and cost you the dearest things in your life or your life. So that's my take on military political things. I know you guys are like, well, some of you may be like, oh, well, that wasn't much, but to be honest, I'm not really an extremist ever in anything. I'm very passionate about Jesus Christ, and that's probably about it. Anything else, I'm like, oh, and speaking of Jesus Christ, before I end this video, let me say this one thing. It really bothers me when people say, God told me to do this, and they're knowingly committing a wrong act. So I saw a lot of people like, oh, God told me I needed to go to the Capitol, and it's his will because this particular person, we can't let him win. And I'm like, it's over. That's done with. God didn't tell you that. If anything, the devil told you that. If anything, just your free will told you that. But do not use God or blame God to justify your sins or justify voting for someone and doing things that you should not be doing. That just grinds my gears. But other than that, you know, when people post things, I just scroll. Sometimes I block, sometimes I unfollow, but most of the time I don't, just because I want them to see my posts about Jesus and being nice. And yeah, but I know it's hard. I do. I think when people feel so passionately about something, they get so wrapped up and they're so like, I gotta, you know, I really believe in this. And that's great. Have that passion, keep it. But again, don't make decisions off of that temporary emotion, because when it goes away and you've made a decision that you can't take back, that's it. But I always like to end on a positive note. Happy Black History Month when you guys are seeing this video. Black history is American history, so it's not just Black history. It should be everyone's history. And also, just make sure that you guys are being respectful towards each other and love one another and be happy and smile, and let's just move forward. 2020 was 2020 was a rough year for everyone. I don't know one person who was like, oh my gosh, I love this year. So 2021 is going to be better. Why? Because we're going to put our differences aside. We're going to come together. We're going to make some changes, and we're going to get it done. And I'm hoping by the summer we can all be outside free. Well, maybe fall. But I'm hoping by the summer because I really want to go outside with my babies. So anyways, that's all I have for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye!